that there was a conversation which I overheard in our narthex just as the service was about to begin, by one of our deacons who was greeting and one of our parishioners, hoping that there would be a bit of humor in the morning sermon. And I have to confess that I wasn't prepared last week. But as I was preparing for this Sunday's message, I came across this story, which I hope will bring a little bit of a laugh to your lips. It's a story about Frank and Mabel. They had been married for 40 years. Frank turned 60 a few months earlier, and now they were celebrating Mabel's 60th birthday. During the birthday party, Frank walked into another room and was surprised to see a fairy godmother appear before him. She said, "Frank, this is your lucky day. I'm here to grant you one wish. What would you like?" He thought for a moment and said, "Well, I would really like to have a wife who is 30 years younger than me." Fairy godmother said, "No problem." She waved her wand and poof, suddenly Frank was 90 years old. I imagine Frank never saw that coming. Our gospel story this morning is also about the unexpected. At first, it seems like just another healing story or another confrontation between Jesus and the religious leaders of his day about Sabbath and how to keep Sabbath and other rules. But if we explore deeper, we come to appreciate more fully that this is a story that is about the very nature of God and God's intentions for us. It is a story that speaks out of the particular circumstances of its original setting, first century Palestine, and all of its cultural norms, but also speaks a message of compassion and hope and healing that is not limited to any particular time or place. It's a simple enough story. Jesus is on the way to Jerusalem accompanied by his disciples. He stops, we are not told where, and on the Sabbath he goes to the local synagogue. Perhaps the local synagogue leaders had heard about this itinerant rabbi, Jesus, or they noticed that he was drawing a larger than usual crowd to the Sabbath service. Whatever the situation, Jesus is invited to teach, to participate in the Sabbath service as a guest, and he accepts the invitation. While he is teaching, the text tells us, there appeared a woman with a spirit that had crippled her for 18 years. She was bent over and was quite unable even to stand up straight. The unknown woman, probably standing at the margins, at the very kind of last pew off in the corner, not really wanting anyone to see her or notice her or to experience the painful expression on her face. Yet this woman does not escape Jesus' notice or his concern. He sees her, and in seeing her, he also calls her into the very center of the synagogue. He speaks healing words, and he offers a healing touch. This woman who had been physically crippled for 18 years is able then to stand up straight, and her unsolicited response is to offer praise to God. What an unexpected and joy-filled moment that must have been for this woman and for those who loved her. But was everyone amazed and grateful for this extraordinary healing that had taken place in their midst? Well, no, not exactly. Jesus' actions had disrupted what was probably scheduled to be a routine Sabbath service by the book, following the appropriate formats, nothing out of the ordinary, following the printed program. And yet, into the midst of that is this unexpected, incredible, awe-inspiring event. The leader of the synagogue, anxious not to let things get any further out of control, turns not to Jesus, not quietly saying, maybe we could do this sometime tomorrow. No, he speaks to the crowd and tells them there are 6 days. There are 6 days on which healings can happen. They're not appropriate for the Sabbath. Come back on one of those other days. Come back tomorrow or Tuesday. Maybe sometime the following week. But not now, not here. Because from their perspective, healing is work, and work is not to be done on the Sabbath day. Jesus confronts this attitude and this message, and he does it in a very direct and forceful way. He is indignant at the response of the leaders of this worship service and of this synagogue. He calls them hypocrites. He says, you are able to bend the rules, those work rules about what is appropriate to happen on a Sabbath day and what is not. You feel quite at ease allowing those rules to be bent to allow you to water your donkey